I think that's going to become a Harmony Farms trademark. Multi-species grazing, sheep, cows, and mini horses. Multi-species grazing, 3 beef steer, 25 full-blood Dorper ewes, and 1 mini horse, as well as a handful of chickens as they go in the mix. Now, multi-species grazing just means you graze everything all together on the same pasture. And when I began this journey about 8 months ago of managing livestock, I did a lot of research. Can you graze animals together? Can you graze certain types of animals together? What are the pros and the cons of doing so? And there was not a lot of information, primarily because I think most farms are one single species. It's a sheep farm, or it's a beef cattle farm, or whatever. But as we launched into small scale farming, worked best for our system just to run all the animals together. So far, it has proven no problem whatsoever. In fact, there are a couple of benefits that actually drew me to the idea of grazing all the animals in one pasture. One of them was that cows in particular are not susceptible to the same parasites that sheep are. So when cows graze, they will ingest the parasites that plague the sheep, have no problems, and leave a cleaner pasture for the sheep. So that was one of the draws that appealed to me as I was considering grazing cows and sheep together. Now, a con is that here we are in winter and we are supplementing our cattle, our beef cattle, with a different supplement that we are supplementing the sheep for. So it's a little bit more effort to separate the cows when it's time to administer that ration of supplementation. The thing is that the sheep absolutely love the protein supplement that we give to the beef steer, but there's an element in it, and it's copper, and we're still doing our research in it, but sheep don't do well with too much extra copper in their diet. So we've got to be a little bit careful to ensure that the beef cattle are actually separated at the time that we administer those protein supplements. That's basically been it. It's been simple, it's worked very well, and it's much easier. Now, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you'll know that we rotationally graze all of our livestock. And depending on the season, in the spring and summer months, we will rotate them to fresh pasture every 2 days. And in the winter, we have slowed our rotation to once a week. So running all of our animals together in a multi-species grazing situation makes for a much easier time creating those new paddocks and rotating the animals onto fresh pasture. And that's about it for multi-species grazing sheep, cows, and mini horses. Not much to it, though there's not a lot of information out on it. It's not because it cannot be done, it's simply because, from what I'm finding, most farms are one type of animal. So I guess another question that could be addressed is, do multi-species actually get along well together? And the answer is the cows and the sheep don't seem to care about each other one bit. When we went to join them initially, we went through a little bit of a process where we put the cows and the sheep in paddocks that were side by side and kind of let them become associated with one another. So they really didn't care, and they really don't care. The only problem we had was with our mini horse, and he has a major attitude and does not like the sheep. And so he has adopted the cows as his grazing companions and loves to stick tight to them. So that is that. And we are going to get these guys moved over today. So we have got some girls back here that are absolutely disrespecting the fence. Usually when that happens, it's when there's just a single strand. So we go through like cycles. 3 strands, they're all good, they stay contained. Okay, I get comfortable with it, then I just do 1 strand, and there's invariably those 2 of the same number every single time that are constantly getting out. As I speak, right behind me, there are 2 escaped. But I've had to constantly remind myself, your worth as a farmer is not defined by whether or not your animal stays in the electric fencing 100% of the time. They get out. Feels really bad. Question your purpose. And the real answer is just put them back into the electric fence. It's gonna be fine. It'll feel better once you do. Just keep going. He's kind of attached, so we've got to walk to the new paddock together. Or not. I'm like a mini horse to take up the rear, good boy. Had to get a little creative with this on the anchoring it, so. Bungee corded to a tree, making sure there's no brush encroachment on the actual power line itself.